It was a tight match at the Allianz, but can we put on the style today at Anfield and beat Bayern Munich and get into the last 16 of the Champions League? Fingers crossed, we can. Hello there folks and welcome to part 13 of our Liverpool beta save on Football Manager 2020. And as I've just alluded to, today is time for the second leg against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. No new games to talk about since the last episode. It's that brilliant episode where we beat when we beat Chelsea and Manchester City by the scores of 1 goal each, 1-0. That win today against Bayern Munich would equally be as good. Of course, at the Allianz, we did register a 1-1 draw, Bayern Munich being ahead for quite a while, but Gini Wijnaldum's goal meant that we did go level and really puts us with the upper hand going into this match at Anfield. So, we're going to get into it straight away here today. The tactic is the same as usual, and the team is really the same as it should be. Of course, we've got Salah, who's still a little bit injured, not really got the fitness at the moment, so Shaqiri's in for him. We've got Oxlade-Chamberlain in the midfield as well. Expect to see that a lot more now because we're just kind of trying to push Milner out of the squad a little bit. It's a harsh thing to see and I don't want to see it happen. But I think that A, we're coming into the later point of the season. Milner just can't sustain that level of fitness. And B, we've got to look to the future. I don't think there's much point playing Milner as much because there are players, of course, that are younger. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Wijnaldum, Keita. Even Henderson's, of course, is younger. And we've got Fabinho as a defensive midfielder. It would seem silly not to play them, and they are more than capable. But Milner is still on the bench as a very good defensive asset. So we've actually won the Premier League in the under-23s, which is great to hear. We're not going to say that we've got our eyes on any of them in the future, just because we don't want to pressure any of them, which I think is absolutely fair enough. But this is a very important game. Of course, if Bayern Munich win by any amount, they go through. And if it's a draw and Bayern Munich score 1 or 2, if they score 1, it goes to extra time. It finishes 1 each. But if Bayern Munich score 2, we have to win. That's the basic maths, if you like. If Bayern Munich score, if Bayern Munich score, really, we have to win, basically. If it's 1 each, it's okay, but let's just go with that simple maths. But Alexander-Arnold, good ball into Sadio Mane, back into Shaqiri again, and not quite happening, but this is happened quite a lot. If we actually manage this episode, yes, we finally put the instruction to stay on feet on, thank goodness for that, so that every time we play a game, we don't have to go into it and tell the lads to stay on their feet. But again, thank you very much for your positive response to the series. You guys seem to be really enjoying it. I know I'm probably not up to date with the comments as much as I should be, but I will probably get those sorted in the next few days. But back to the action for the moment. Chamberlain, a poor ball from him, but it's recovered by Wijnaldum and Fabinho. But Alexander-Arnold back out into the centre, back out wide. I know I was going to say back out wide at some point. Robertson beats the defender into Sadio Mane, but Bayern Munich very strongly get that one away. But equally as strong, Van Dijk does put that back into our area. But here's the man, Philippe Coutinho. Could he break our hearts today? Not if Fabinho's got anything to do with it. Good shot from Shaqiri, and goodness me, that was very nearly an early breakthrough. Goodness me, what a shot that was. The post, the only thing denying Xherdan Shaqiri of an early goal here at Anfield. It's important to note as well that we haven't lost at Anfield all season, and of course that does include the Champions League, but it doesn't matter. We can draw. If we draw today, that's going to be fatal. If it's not a 0-0 or 1-1. So as I've said, if Bayern score, we could do with winning, especially if they score more than 1. But that's a disaster for Bayern Munich. How they've got away with that, I do not know. Shaqiri back into the middle. I just don't know how Bayern have got away with that. Goodness me, they have got away with that. Really sloppy play from Bayern Munich there, back to the goalkeeper. But we've had 5 shots so far. Arguably 2 or 3 of those could have gone in. So just the look of the draw at the moment, and we're not quite getting the rub of the green. But we've got another chance, it seems, here. We are dominating Bayern Munich. Of course, a very traditionally defensive side. Look to be hoofing the ball up to Lewandowski, so that could be a problem. Let's see if we can get something here. Alexander-Arnold with a 6th shot, and again strikes the post and goes behind. I really hope it's not going to be one of those games where we have that many chances that it's painful, but just miss every one and Bayern go and get a sneaky winner, because there are so many games like that, like being FM'd. You'll have that many shots, Bayern will have one and score it, and you're like, I can't believe this has happened. But in the first half an hour, it's very rewarding to see that we've restricted Bayern altogether to nothing, and that we've had 11 shots. And with 5 of those on target, just the case that they've done very well defensively, and that surely if we carry on well, at least one of them will come off. Good ball from Robertson to Firmino. A little bit further back than he'd like to be, but that's not too bad. But puts it back to Robertson, back to Firmino, but that's poor. Just tried to get a bit of room there, but didn't quite happen. But we've got such a good defence. Joel Matip and Van Dijk really holding the back line securely. You can see Robertson and Alexander-Arnold are a long way up, but this is a chance. Shaqiri puts it out wide to the right back, puts it into the box for Robertson. The two Full packs combined. Oh, dear. Dear, dear. 13 shots now. Still no goal. It's got to come at some point. We're getting so close, it's painful. But as I was saying, those two centre-backs doing a magnificent job. Lewandowski, really their only attacking player, it seems. Even the wingers are back quite a bit. So it's all defensive for Bayern Munich. Just hoping for that one chance, I presume. But that is not a good sign. We've already got Mo Salah out with an injury. We don't want Sadio Mane out. It's a potential foot injury, which could mean absolutely anything. We're going to bring Alex Teixeira on. Just tell him that I think there's more to come from him. Of course, he's only played a few games so far. And I think that it'd be good to keep Origi on the bench as a striking option. Hence why I've kept him there. But it looks like in the other match that's been played tonight, actually, Atalanta were 2-1 up coming into this leg. And as you can see, Atletico have scored 4 in the first half to really finish off any chance of Atalanta getting a surprise result against them. But 10 minutes to the second half, still nothing really going on. Andy Robertson is absolutely knackered. But that being said, he's got a 7.6 rating. So I think we're going to keep him on and then just rest him for the match against Watford and maybe the weekend match as well against, I think it's Sheffield United. But this match, of course, is the most important. Again, I think really now all we can look at is avoid conceding. I mean, it's crazy that we've had 24 shots and still not had a breakthrough. I mean, there's been plenty of matches where we've had more shots and not made a breakthrough. Brian, we've only one shot, but it only needs one shot to go well, and they do take the lead. So let's have a look what happens here. 69 minutes in. Can we finally make the breakthrough? Alexander Arnold puts the ball into Firmino. Not quite there. Robertson shoots. Oh, just over the bar from Andy Robertson. That is our 25th effort of the day. Quite unbelievable. The two wing-backs are knackered now, but we're going to have to look at pushing forward in terms of an attacking standpoint. So we're going to bring Keita on, and you know what? We are going to bring James Milner on for Robertson. He's on 58% in terms of condition. If he was any higher than that, we'd risk it, but that's just simply too low at this point. Whether we'll rule that decision, we'll find out, but 27 shots we've had. Remember, if it stays like this, we go through on the away goals rule. But 27 shots, my goodness, and 28 now. 12 of those on target. I think that just show how much of a good defensive effort it's been from Bayern Munich. But I really hope it doesn't all finish for us now. What we do need is a goal. Virgil van Dijk to Teixeira. Teixeira cuts inside, shoots, and that is now 29 efforts with no goal. And this is starting to get a little bit worrying in our games, to be honest. Some games just have the rub of the draw, stuck score 6 or 7. But in games like this, it might well just be because they're defending very well. But ultimately, in pressured situations like this, where we know we could do with a goal, in some situations we would need a goal, and to have not got one so far is really worrying, because Bayern Munich could come up at any time, score, and of course that is our Champions League adventure for the season over, which would be a real shame just at this point, and put massive pressure on us, I think, if we went out at this point to do something in the Premier League. But that's a very good interception from James Milner. Firmino one-on-one with Neuer, and once again, you just can't score one-on-ones in FM20. You would argue from this game's evidence that you can't score at all in FM20. 31 shots, 15 on target. I mean, that's a bloody impressive goalkeeping performance, really, from Neuer. Unless all of them have been straight at him, which is probably the case. But we need some of that from Alisson, I think, if Bayern Munich can go a shot at any point. But a great interception for Fabinho, but he does win the ball back to Coutinho. But this is probably going to be the most dull and boring game possible, with the highest stakes possible. But I'm really scared now about Bayern Munich winning this late on, you know. I really am. I'm really worried about this, because we've dominated the game. It's that sort of thing that you can get FM'd, but it looks like it might be too late. But it's not over until the whistle is blown. What a peculiar result this would be. Very peculiar. I mean, 31 shots. This could be a chance there. Firmino in the box. One-on-one with Neuer. Again, 32 shots in this match. And still no finish. And I think that's probably how it is going to finish. He's brought proceedings to a close. I mean, we are through against Bayern Munich. That's a massive, massive performance. But I do apologise that it was boring, because, yeah, I think we need to say to the lads we got away with that, because even though we've got through and I'm overjoyed with that, was it enough? No, not really. Bayern Munich are a very good defensive side, but to have 30-odd shots and not really get anything near getting a goal, okay, you might say we were unlucky. But even so, the positive thing is we are through to the Champions League second knockout round. Semi-final draw? I don't think it's the semi-finals yet, is it, surely? Semi-final draw. Ah, right, so they'll draw the quarters and semis. That makes sense. So, next thing I will show you is the Champions League draw. And then, because that was a fairly lacklustre game, I've got to show you the Watford game next, I think. Yeah, I'll show you the Watford game next. But first off, let's see who we've got in the Champions League quarter-final. Well, here's a development as I'm just sitting back waiting for the next match. Tottenham have sacked Pochettino. Wow. Wow. I mean, I know their title chase has ran off a little bit, but they're in fourth for crying out loud. That is very harsh for Tottenham to have gone and sacked Pochettino. It's a shame that it's not the end of the season, brutally, because if we went and won the league from this position, I would quite like to take that Tottenham job. See if we could do it with two clubs. It's too early though, isn't it, at the moment? But another thing that's happened as well, obviously we had that Mane injury. He's not out for too long, but he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, which is going to take us up now. At least, if we say 3 weeks, it's going to be at the 10th. So it's going to take us to that Villa game. At worst, it could even take us up to the Burnley or Newcastle game. And of course, Mo Salah needs to get back to fitness as quick as possible. So that's a definite concern. When is the Champions League draw tomorrow? So I might as well stop with you guys until that draw. But that is unbelievable that they've sacked Pochettino. Okay, fair enough. That they've sacked Pochettino. I've done it again. That they've sacked Pochettino. That's quite astounding, really, at this stage of the season. But each is their own, I suppose. I've just realised I didn't actually answer his question. Apologies to the S-Sport journalist who actually informed me technically that he was sacked. Now, we've got 2 things going on. We've got the Watford clash, which we'll focus on later, because what we're looking at now is the Champions League draw. I'm going to draw the first team out. The first team out of the hat is Paris Saint-Germain. In the hat as well, we've got Atletico, Barcelona, Inter, Juventus, Liverpool, Napoli, and Real Madrid. So we're the last English team left. How did Man City go out there? Man City went out to Juventus, pretty tough draw. Chelsea went out to Real Madrid. And did Tottenham not make it past the group stage? That might, well, yeah, Tottenham didn't make it past the group stage. That might be the reason why then. So, last English team in the competition. We are the competition holders, of course. First match is PSG against Inter. Barcelona play Juventus. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Real Madrid, Liverpool. It's a repeat of the 2018 final. And that is really exciting too. That's going to be a tricky one. But we played Bayern Munich. We've got to play them next. Have a look who we will play, though, if we beat Real Madrid. So we'll see what side of the draw we're on. So Real Madrid and Liverpool are out first. And we will play against Atletico or Napoli, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I feel like that second half of the draw is a lot nastier. So if we beat Real Madrid, it's going to be a real challenge. We're going to have to play either Atletico or Napoli to get to the final. I don't think that's terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. And that'll definitely be the next episode, I think. Real Madrid. I think probably Wolves and Real Madrid will be the next episode. But before we get into that, let's go and play the Watford game. It's not really been a complex run, to be honest, to get to the FA Cup 6th round. Hence why none of the games, I don't think, have been on any episodes. And get my words out. Huddersfield, Burnley and Bournemouth all beat by 2 goals to something. Bournemouth did get one back, forced us to extra time. But as you can see, it's a very strong contention, really, for this competition. We've got Man City, Everton, Chelsea, Leicester and Arsenal all left. I'm not mentioning Birmingham because you presume Man City would beat them. But I suppose you never know. Birmingham could go and beat all of us. And that would really be a shock to the system. I'll show you the team now. I know we've got into the match, but I will show you the team. A much changed team. Not really surprising. Adrian plays in goal for us. We've got Joe Gomez on the right. The normal back 2 with Milner on the left. Henderson starts at defensive midfield with Keita and Chiravella in the midfield. We've got Salah back on right wing with Texera on the left wing and Origi up front. It's obvious at this stage of the season. You just want to rest players. You want to avoid what happened to Sadio Mane, of course. So that's why you leave some players out. And what I'm trying to do with Mo Salah, his match sharpness is down a little bit. So this is the sort of match I think that'll probably prepare him a little bit better for the running, basically. We've got an international break following this game of about 10 days. So we've all got that time to recuperate, and it's a big push till the end of the season, really. I mean, it's going to be a lot of games, so that is quite frightening. But Salah to Chiravella, and Chiravella, we've played him a few times. Great to see that. It's his first goal for Liverpool, the main team. Good assist by Mo Salah as well, and it's a very good start to the match. Good to see one of our youngsters getting a goal. I don't think Chiravella's far away from the first team at all. I think that with Milner nearly at the end now, I think he's probably only got a year left. Someone like Chiravella, particularly with the likes of Lallana, Henderson, all getting older as well. I think he's somebody who could slot in as well. We've also got Marko Grujic out on loan at Hertha Berlin, but we'll only be doing this save probably for a few seasons. So, unfortunately, probably won't be able to see those youth players come through massively, but we'll still bring and breed those through like we would in the usual save. So, because potentially this save could go on for 15 years. I've made no choice about whether it will or not yet, but at the moment, I think it's just going to be a few seasons. But we take first blood in this game pretty early on. And, of course, if we do win this one, we book a chance to go into the FA Cup semi-final. To go and potentially win another trophy this year in what could be a very impressive, and that's a good ball to Texera, very nearly 2-0, in what could be a very impressive quadruple without winning the league or the Champions League. Or, of course, you know, a 5 or 6 trophy season if we go and win the Champions League or Premier League. That would be absolutely crazy. And we're going to try and win the Premier League. And I think if we go and win something like the FA Cup, I know 2 or 3 of the competitions have been little competitions, you know, the Super Cup, the Club World Cup. Basically, every competition we've won so far, it's not been a serious competition because there've always been a few games or only one game in the case of the Community Shield or the Super Cup. But it's still a trophy, and it doesn't really matter. But we'll have to see if we can go and win the FA Cup. We win the FA Cup in the league. It's 5 trophies in a season. That's magnificent. And who knows, we could win the Champions League as well. We'll have to see how we get on. But Keita on the ball. It's actually nicked by Pereira. Not great from him. But sloppy defensive work by Watford. And Texera's in the box. Ben Foster saves. And it's a corner to us. Again, we're having a lot of shots. Doesn't seem like our attacking work is going too well, though, at the moment, which is concerning me quite a bit. What I will say is that a player like Naby Keita, who's playing today, hasn't really played enough this year. But with those 3 defensive spots and effectively 5 or 6 midfielders to choose from, I think Keita's just been one that's been sidelined quite a bit, unfortunately. And there's not much we can do about that. He's not really shown much of a real potential for us when he's played so far this year. You watch, I'll say this now, and he'll get a hat-trick today. But in the end of the day, other players have shown better potential. But that's a good ball from him out wide to Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez into the box for Origi, and Origi makes it 2-0 at the start of the second half. This was a match against Watford that was going to be a fair bit easier, I think, than the one against Bayern Munich. But of course, it is effectively the B team who plays today. With a few exceptions like the defenders, we still want to put respect to this competition, especially at this stage. Against Huddersfield, we played a complete youngsters squad, but at this stage of the competition, in the quarter-final stage, you've got to respect the competition, but majoritively, it's mostly fringe players that are playing, the likes of Firmino. Obviously, Mane misses out through injury, but there are quite a few players, as you can probably see, who do miss out. But Watford strike back straight away with a very good assist from Janmaat and a bit of sloppy defending from us, to be quite honest. We're going to tell the lads to concentrate, because that's a little bit of a concern that a team like Watford could break away like that, especially just after we'd scored a goal and we didn't keep our heads grounded. But oh well, a poor defensive challenge by Milner, really. But even still, for them to get that space from there was a little bit poor. And let's hope it doesn't happen again, or else it could be 2-each and we're playing unnecessary minutes in what we want to keep this to a nice 90-minute game. And luckily, of course, the semi-final, if we get to that, is only 1 match as well. So it's not like the Carabao Cup when it's 2 legs. So it's not that much of a commitment now. If we go and win this match, it's 2 more games. I know you say, well, think about it. 2 more games in this season is a lot. But at the end of the day, it's not that much of a commitment. It's certainly not too bad at all. We're going to bring Shaqiri off. We're going to bring Shaqiri on at right wing for Salah. He's played today. Probably got a bit of match sharpness back, which is good for him. And we're also going to bring Fabinho on in place of Chirivella. He's a little bit tired. We're going to put Henderson in the midfield alongside Keita. With Fabinho's that defensive midfield. Just making sure we've got a bit of defensive coverage at the back, just to avoid that 2-2 happening at all costs. But Fabinho very nearly turned goal scorer then, so that was fairly close. But Watford have challenged us quite well today, I think it's fair to say. But with 15 minutes to go, we are going to bring Joe Gomez off, who's tired and has got a yellow card. So again, obviously, that's a bit of a risk, and bring Trent Alexander-Arnold on. Shaqiri into the box for Virgil van Dijk, and that is a finish. But is it offside? It's got all the traits of FM of being offside. He does blow his whistle, does the ref, and Colin Griffiths does call the ball back due to it being offside, which, fair enough, if it was offside, it was offside. But our third goal of the match, we could do with another one, really, to shore this out. Much like against Bayern Munich, these are really fine margins, and once in a while it's going to happen that you are going to lose a point or two due to this. This is a little bit of a problem, but a very poor throwing then from Watford. Equally, a bit of a poor clearance from Fabinho. That was a little bit disappointing not to keep hold of the ball, especially with the position we're in. A lovely ball, though, over to Gerard Deulofeu into Sarr. What did I say? This could well be ruled out for offside, though. It's Deulofeu who could have been offside. The goal doesn't stand. Well, 1 goal each doesn't stand, but still, the problems still stand. Although the goal didn't stand, the problem still stands. We let them get in too much space. Okay, it was offside, but they're in too much space. But we have won against Watford. Again, I'm going to say to the lads, it was a bit of a let-off. Not the best performance in the world, much like Bayern. But I suppose we won both matches. That's something we've got to be pleased about. Before the episode finishes, I better show you who we're playing in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Well, it was certainly an interesting sixth round, culminating in 4 home wins. So it's Liverpool, Man City, Everton and Arsenal that will contest the semi-finals. The biggest shock out of those results is Everton beating Chelsea by 5-0. That is a bit of a worrying one coming into this semi-final. But let's see who we will face. Who's going to be the first one out of this 4-man draw? Man City, the holders of the title. We're going to play the holders. We're first out the round. And we are going to play the holders, Man City. Well, we've beat Man City 3 times so far this season in our 3 meetings, of course. And by fate, we're going to play them for a 4th time. It says that it's well worth noting that Liverpool has not lost to Man City in the last 3 meetings between the sides. And if we do win this match against Man City, it will set up an FA Cup final against Everton or Arsenal. When is that scheduled in for? When is it penciled in for? Let's just go forward a little bit just so it computes it in the FM brain. Let's have a look when that will come in what is a massively hectic next month and a half. Yeah, that's a bit of a frightening one. Well, simple really. The next episode will be Wolves against Real Madrid. Not quite. Wolves and Real Madrid, followed by Real Madrid and City. And then obviously we'll be showing a lot of those games in the Premier League. But because we've had so many episodes, we just can't show the Premier League. And I think these 3 matches should be winnable. But the likes of definitely the last 3 games, last 4 games will be interesting. But in the next episode, it'll be a Premier League match and a Champions League match, which I hope you guys will be looking forward to. Starting at the Molineux and then going to the Bernabeu. What is not to love? But if you've enjoyed that, make sure you leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for daily FM content. But apart from that, thank you very much for your company, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye for now.